Your personality is being erased. Every time you pause to translate, the real you disappears. You're a ghost in your own conversations. Stay until the end because I'm revealing the secret to killing the translation thief and finally setting your soul free. Imagine a thief. Not a thief who steals your money or your car, but a silent, invisible thief who steals your time, your personality, and your very voice. Every time you open your mouth to speak English, this thief is there, standing between your thought and your tongue. You feel it, don't you? That agonizing pause. That 3-second lag where your brain scrambles to find a word in your native language, translates it, checks the grammar, and finally, by the time the sound leaves your lips, the moment has passed. The joke isn't funny anymore. The business point is lost. You look hesitant, perhaps even less intelligent than you truly are. This is the tragedy of the translation trap. It is a mental cage that keeps your true self locked away, making you a stranger to your own potential. But what if I told you that the key to this cage isn't more grammar books? What if the secret to freedom is a complete, deep-seated rewiring of how your soul interacts with language? If you stay with me until the very end of this video, I am going to show you how to kill that thief and reclaim your voice. Welcome to Glaze English, where we transform your struggle into your greatest strength. Before we go any deeper into the mystery of the English mind, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Your support is the fuel that keeps us going, giving us the motivation to create these deep dive lessons to help you achieve the life you've always dreamed of. To understand how to think in English, we must first understand the biology of your struggle. When you translate, your brain is doing double the work for half the result. It is like trying to run a race while carrying a heavy suitcase in each hand. You are exhausted, not because English is hard, but because your process is inefficient. To find fluency, you must create a direct neurological bridge between your senses and your English words, bypassing your native language entirely. This is a journey of 5 profound levels, starting with the very fabric of your reality. Level 1 is the level of the direct link. Look around your room right now. Do not see an object and wait for your native word to appear. Instead, treat the English word like a spark of light that hits the object instantly. Table, window, laptop, phone. You are not labeling items, you are renaming your world. This is the foundation of a new identity. If you see a cup and think, cup, without the interference of your first language, you have just performed a miracle of neuroscience. You have successfully created a new neural pathway. As you master the names of things, you must move to level 2, the living narrative. Life is not a static photo. It is a movie in constant motion. To think in English, you must become the narrator of your own film. As you move through your day, describe your actions in the present continuous. I am pouring the water. I am opening the door. I am feeling the cold air. This level is deep because it connects the language to your physical body. When you say, I am walking, while your legs are actually moving, the word walking becomes a physical sensation, not just a vocabulary point. This is how a child learns, and it is the only way to achieve true speed. Once your actions are in English, Level 3 asks you to describe the atmosphere. This is where you add color and emotion to your thoughts. Instead of just the sky, think, the sky is a deep, moody blue. Instead of the coffee, think, the coffee is bitter and steaming. By describing your surroundings with sensory details, you are training your brain to perceive the entire world through an English lens. You are no longer just a student, you are an observer in a new language. The fourth level is the most intimate and perhaps the most challenging. Replacing the inner voice. We all have a roommate in our heads, that voice that talks to us all day long, planning our schedule and questioning our choices. Usually, that roommate speaks your native language. Level 4 is the process of evicting that roommate and inviting an English-speaking one to move in. Start asking yourself the small questions of life in English. What should I cook for dinner? Did I lock the front door? I really need to call my mother. This is the stage where the translation thief truly begins to die. When your private thoughts are in English, your public speech becomes effortless. Finally, we reach level 5, the mental simulation. This is the pinnacle of the mental shift. This is where you use the power of your imagination to rehearse your future. Imagine you are sitting in a high-stakes interview or standing at a terminal in a busy American airport. Visualize the person in front of you. What are they asking? Now, in the silence of your mind, craft your response. Feel the confidence in your chest as the English words flow out. You are preloading your brain for success. By the time the real conversation happens, your mind will feel like it's just repeating a memory rather than performing a task. This 5-level shift is not a quick fix. It is a spiritual and intellectual evolution. It is about moving from a person who knows English to a person who is English in their thoughts. The path is open, the cage is unlocked, and your new voice is waiting for you to claim it. Before we move on to how you can build this environment at home, I want you to stop and reflect on your own mind. This is a moment of honesty. Which of these sounds more like your current experience? A. I feel like a prisoner, always stuck translating every word, and it makes me want to stop speaking entirely. B. I have started to see small sparks of English in my head, but I am afraid I will never be able to think in full sentences. Please comment your answer, A or B, in the section below. I want to know exactly where you are on this journey so we can keep building this bridge together. Your answer helps me understand how to better guide you in the next part of this transformation. Once you have unlocked the internal gates of your mind, the next step is to transform the very physical space you inhabit into a sanctuary where English lives and breathes. Many people believe they are trapped by their geography, convinced that without a plane ticket to New York or London, their tongue will always remain heavy and foreign. But I want to tell you a secret that the most successful learners already know. The American environment isn't a place on a map. It is a choice you make within the 4 walls of your own home. You have the power to curate your world, to filter out the noise of your native language, and to invite a new culture into your kitchen, your car, and your quietest moments. Think of Sarah, a university student who felt silenced by the walls of her small town in Brazil. She had no native-speaking friends, so she made a pact with the person in her mirror. Every morning, she stood before her reflection, not to check her hair, but to practice the soul of a new language. She talked about her breakfast, her anxieties about exams, and her wildest dreams of seeing snow in Canada. This wasn't just practice, it was a psychological breakthrough. The mirror technique works because it forces you to witness your own struggle and turn it into strength. When you can look yourself in the eyes and speak English without shame, you are no longer a student. You are an owner of the language. Then, look at the digital portals we carry in our pockets. Daniel realized that his smartphone was either a distraction or a teacher, and he chose the latter. By switching his phone settings to English, he turned his digital life into a relentless immersion camp. Every notification, every app interface, and every system update became a micro-interaction with his future. He didn't just use apps, he used them as allies. Miguel, on the other hand, broke the silence of his isolation through technology. He found virtual communities where he could be someone else, someone who spoke English. He moved from the safety of typing in chat rooms to the terrifying, exhilarating reality of live video calls. He realized that the internet is the ultimate equalizer. It doesn't matter if your neighborhood is quiet, as long as your connection to the global community is loud and clear. True immersion is an active hunger, a refusal to let English just happen to you. Take Priya, who turned her love for movies into a clinical study of human emotion. She stopped letting her native subtitles carry her brain. She switched to English text, forcing her mind to bridge the gap between the written word and the spoken sound. Ravi, a shopkeeper in India, did the same with music. He didn't just listen to English songs, he sang them. He mimicked the grit in the voices, the rhythm of the lyrics, and the emotion behind the melodies. He understood that English isn't just a collection of rules, it's a heartbeat, a rhythm that you have to catch in your chest before you can release it from your throat. And finally, remember the quiet, steady persistence of Sophia. As a mother with 2 children and a full-time job, she had every reason to say, "I don't have time." But she understood that a home sanctuary is built in the margins of a busy life. She took 30 minutes of her day and made them sacred, a ritual she called her 30-minute challenge. 5 minutes of a podcast while the coffee brewed, 10 minutes of writing a few sentences in a journal while the house was quiet, and 15 minutes of a show at night. She proved that you don't need a 3-hour block of study. You need a heartbeat of consistency. You don't need to be a traveler to find your voice. You only need to be an architect of your own environment. Start today. Turn your mirror into a friend, your phone into a portal, and your home into the world you have always been destined to join. But having a room full of books and a phone set to English is merely the stage. Now, we must discuss the performance itself, the technical mechanics of how sound actually becomes speech. You must realize that speaking English is not an intellectual exercise of memorizing rules. It is a physical skill, much like playing the violin or training for a marathon. Your mouth has muscles that have never been used this way before, and your ears have been tuned to a different frequency since the day you were born. To break through, you need to stop just hearing English and start listening to the invisible architecture of every sentence. This is the difference between passive listening, where the language washes over you like rain, and active listening, where you become a detective of sound. When you listen actively, you aren't just looking for the meaning of the words, you are looking for the vibration. You must notice the stress, the way an American speaker stretches one syllable while making others almost disappear. You must hear the intonation, the rising and falling waves that signal a question, a joke, or a hidden emotion. This is where the shadowing technique becomes your most powerful weapon. Shadowing is not just simple repetition. It is an act of imitation so deep that you try to steal the very soul of the speaker's confidence. You choose a short clip of someone whose voice you admire. You listen to a single phrase, you pause, and then you mimic. You don't just say the words, you match their speed, their breath, and their attitude. You do it until you can no longer tell the difference between their voice and yours. This process is how you build neural pathways, the physical bridges in your brain that turn a difficult task into a natural reflex. When you repeat a phrase 20, 30, or 50 times, you are not being a robot. You are a builder. You are carving a path so deep that the next time you need that phrase in a real conversation, your brain doesn't have to search for it. It simply slides down that well-worn path and out of your mouth. This is the secret to why some people seem to speak without effort. It is not that they are smarter. It is that they have built more bridges. To speak like a native, you must also embrace the connected speech that textbooks often ignore. In the classroom, you are taught to say, "What are you going to do?" But in the streets of Los Angeles or New York, you will hear, "What you gonna do?" This isn't bad English. It is the natural, fluid rhythm of a living language. Americans love to blend words together to save energy and create a flow. By practicing these reductions, like wanna, gonna, and gotta, you stop sounding like a computer reading a list and start sounding like a person with a story to tell. You are training your tongue to dance through the syllables rather than tripping over them. Remember, the ear must always lead the tongue. If you cannot hear the music, you cannot play the instrument. So take your technical toolkit, your active listening, your shadowing, and your relentless repetition, and treat every practice session like a rehearsal for the most important performance of your life. It is in these small, technical moments of focused imitation that the heavy chains of a foreign language finally begin to fall away, leaving behind the smooth, effortless rhythm of a confident speaker. But we do not sharpen our tools merely for the sake of the craft. We sharpen them because of the magnificent world those tools allow us to build. English is far more than a collection of sounds and symbols. It is a global key, a universal currency that buys you the freedom to move, to earn, and to know. When you master this language, you are no longer confined by the borders of the place you were born. You become a citizen of a much larger, more prosperous world. In today's ruthless global job market, English is the line between being a participant and being a leader. Consider two candidates for a high-level management position. One is brilliant, but can only speak to the local team. The other is equally skilled, but can negotiate a deal with a partner in Singapore, lead a presentation for a client in London, and write a report for a headquarters in Chicago. The bilingual candidate isn't just an employee, they are a bridge. They are the ones who get the promotions, the international assignments, and the higher salaries, because they possess the tool that keeps the wheels of global business turning. In the modern workplace, being seen and being heard on a global scale is the ultimate competitive advantage. This freedom extends far beyond the office and into the very air you breathe when you travel. When you step off a plane in a foreign city where you do not speak the local tongue, English is the safety net that catches you. It transforms you from a vulnerable tourist into a lost traveler who finds their way with confidence. It is the power to explain a medical emergency to a doctor in a remote clinic. The ability to navigate a chaotic airport when a flight is canceled. And the grace to share a meal and a story with a stranger in a hostel. It is the language that ensures you are never truly alone, no matter how far you go. It bridges the communication gap in hotels, restaurants, and streets from Tokyo to Rome, turning every journey into an opportunity for deep human connection, rather than a series of confusing obstacles. And perhaps most importantly, in our digital era, English is the gatekeeper of human knowledge. More than half of the entire internet is written in English. When you limit yourself to your native language, you are reading only a small, translated chapter of the world's library. But with English, the gate is wide open. You have immediate access to the latest scientific breakthroughs, the most advanced coding tutorials, and the deepest philosophical discussions from the world's most brilliant minds on platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, and Wikipedia. You are no longer waiting for a translation that might never come. You are drinking directly from the source. You are shifting from a student who is learning for a grade to a person who is learning for a life upgrade. This is why we shadow, why we repeat, and why we think in English. Because we are building a life without limits, where every door is open, every resource is available, and every conversation is a new possibility for your future. Yet, even with the keys to the world in your hands, the most difficult door you will ever have to unlock is the one within your own heart that whispers you aren't good enough. I know this because I have stood exactly where you are standing now. I remember being in Hong Kong, a city where everyone seemed to speak with such clinical, lightning-fast efficiency. I was just a learner then, full of theory but empty of confidence. I walked into a small, crowded cafe, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I had practiced my order 20 times in my head, rehearsing the syllables until I thought I was ready. But the moment the waiter looked at me, his pen hovering over his notepad, my mind went completely blank. I used the wrong word, something small, something ridiculous, and the confusion on his face felt like a burning spotlight on my inadequacy. I felt smaller than the chair I was sitting on. I wanted to disappear, to crawl back to my room and never speak another word of English as long as I lived. But in that moment of crushing embarrassment, I realized a truth that changed my life. My mistake wasn't a sign of failure. It was a sign of effort. This brings us to the most vital part of your journey, the progress over perfection mantra. We have been lied to by traditional schools. We've been told that language is a test where every error is a mark against our character. It's not. Language is a messy, beautiful, human dance. Every time you stumble, you are not falling backward, you are falling forward into a deeper understanding. I want you to start treating your mistakes as data points. If you say, I go, instead of I went, don't punish your soul. Simply notice it. Say to yourself, oh, that's a data point. My brain is learning. Next time, I'll try the other one. This shift in mindset removes the paralyzing weight of fear. It turns you from a nervous prisoner of grammar into a fearless explorer of communication. When you stop trying to be perfect, you finally give yourself permission to be fluent. Think about the architecture of a house. You don't wake up one morning and find a mansion standing in your yard. You lay one brick every single day. Some days the rain is pouring and the mud is thick. Some days you are too exhausted to even lift the shovel. But you lay that one brick anyway. This is how fluency is built, not through a miracle, but through the sacred act of showing up. I want you to hold on to a 3-month vision. Look ahead 90 days from today. If you shadow for just 10 minutes, if you think in English while you brush your teeth, and if you embrace your mistakes as friends, who will you be? You won't be perfect, but you will be transformed. You will feel the translation thief finally losing his grip on your throat. You will hear a joke and laugh before you even realize it was in English. That version of you is waiting in the future, and they are cheering for you right now. But that version of you depends entirely on the version of you that exists in this moment, the one who refuses to quit. This is why we are here at Glaze English. We aren't just teaching you how to move your tongue. We are building a sanctuary for people who are brave enough to be imperfect. Your journey is unique, and it matters more than you know. Your voice is a gift, and the world is waiting to hear it. So, as we close this chapter, I ask you to truly join us. Subscribe to this channel to stay anchored to your goal, and leave a comment below with your 3-month vision. Tell me exactly who you want to be 90 days from today. Let us witness your commitment, and let this community be the wind beneath your wings. You are closer than you've ever been, and you are capable of more than you've ever dreamed. Stay patient, stay consistent, and above all, be kind to yourself. You've got this, and I'll be right here with you in the next one. Happy learning. We have traveled a long road together today, and I want you to take a moment to breathe and realize how far you have already come. We began this journey by identifying that invisible thief, the translation trap, and we learned how to evict him by reclaiming the power of our inner voice. We saw that our homes, no matter where they are located on a map, can become the very soil where our English grows, provided we are willing to turn our mirrors into friends and our technology into portals. We discussed the physical mechanics of shadowing and the rhythmic beauty of connected speech, realizing that speaking is a sport that requires the training of both the ear and the tongue. We looked at the magnificent doors that swing wide open when you hold the key of English, the career leaps, the safety in travel, and the limitless ocean of global knowledge that is now at your fingertips. But most importantly, we looked at the person in the mirror, the one who has felt small, who has stumbled, but who continues to stand up. This journey is about far more than grammar or vocabulary. It is about the profound transformation of your identity. You are moving from being a spectator in the world to being an active, confident participant in the global conversation. Those moments of embarrassment at a cafe or the frustration you feel in your living room are not signs of failure. They are the necessary friction required to create the fire of fluency. Every shadow you practice and every thought you narrate is a brick in the foundation of your future freedom. You are building a version of yourself that is fearless, connected, and limitless. And that is a goal worth every ounce of your effort. The most profound lesson to take away from this experience is that fluency is not a gift for the lucky. It is a side effect of courage. We often wait to feel confident before we speak, but the truth is that confidence is earned only by having the bravery to speak while we are still afraid. To apply this to your life right now, you must lower the stakes and embrace the small win philosophy. Stop waiting for a perfect or important moment to be an English speaker. If you are making a cup of tea, say, "I am making tea," out loud. If you see a beautiful sunset, describe its colors in your mind. This is how you win the war against the translation thief, not in a grand explosion of perfection, but in the quiet thousands of small choices you make every day to be a little more English than you were yesterday. This mindset of progress over perfection will change your life if you let it. It will make you a better professional, a more adventurous traveler, and a more resilient human being, because you will no longer be afraid of the mistakes that lead to growth. I want to leave you with a very simple question to think about today, and I would be honored if you shared your thoughts with us. What is one small object or action in your home that you will commit to naming or narrating in English today? It could be as simple as your coffee, your keys, or the act of opening the door. Please leave a comment below with your answer. Reading your commitments helps inspire every other person in this community, and it shows that you are taking that first, brave step toward your new identity. And if you found value in this deep dive, please subscribe to Glaze English. Your subscription is the greatest support you can give us, providing the motivation we need to keep creating these lessons for your journey. Thank you for your time, your heart, and your dedication. I will see you in the next one.